the president, as they say where I come from, is down the road. I listened. Apparently, he has a secret, important document with Mexico. And I'm sure that there are a heck of a lot of Iowans being crushed by his tariffs that would like to see that secret document. I'm anxious to see it.
Welcome back to Harbor. That was Vice President Biden, of course, today hitting the president again on his trade wars. Iowa, a state that voted for both Barack Obama and then, of course, for Trump, has been the focal front of that war. And despite the punishing cost to many farmers, President Trump's support among Republicans in Iowa remains strong at 81%. Strong support. They're putting up with this. Overall, though, only 42% of Iowans approve of the job the president's doing, according to a Morning Consult poll, while 54% disapprove. So that's sort of a national number. From where I'm joined by U.S. Congresswoman Sherry Bustos, Democrat from Illinois, not far from Iowa, who's chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, and Brett Stevens is a New York Times columnist. Congresswoman, thank you for this. And I want you to disaggregate this, separate the two. The China trade wars, that's punishing China because of their screwing around with us all these years in terms of trade and the billions they've been building up in terms of exchange because of the way they benefit from the trade with the United States. And this more recent thing with Mexico, which is to stop all the asylum seekers from going through Mexico. Is there a difference in reaction politically to those trade war issues?
Well, keep in mind that the biggest agricultural trading partners that we have are China, Mexico, and Canada. And if you want to go back to when President Trump was candidate Trump, he stood behind a podium in Des Moines, Iowa, saying, I am going to end the war on the American farmer. And here we are in this trade war where who is getting hit among the hardest of just about anybody? It's our family farmer. No, this is our family farmers are hurting. It's not just the unpredictability of Mother Nature, but it is also the unpredictability of what comes out of the White House through the tweet of the day. We just don't know what's going to happen with trade next. It starts out we were going to have this 5% tariff starting Monday, and then all of a sudden we're not. Now he pulls this little piece of paper out of his
pocket. Well, he
may
have a deal. We don't know. I think he might have the deal. I don't know.
Well, I hope he does. For the sake of the American farmer, I hope he does have a deal.
Let me ask you about the patriotism, tough trade wars, and the needs, economic needs of a farmer who depends on their lives, on the success of our crops being sold to places like Mexico. I remember with Carter, and when he pushed the grain embargo against the Russians for invading Afghanistan, the farmers stuck with him.
Yeah, sure, because
through all the hardship.
Farmers have complex political motives. They're not just economic determinists. I mean, look, farmers are being hit two ways, which is that like the cost of goods for them is going up, and their ability to sell is going down, which is a real opening for any Democratic opponent of Trump. But, you know, this is Tom Frank's thesis, what's the matter with Kansas? People don't simply vote their economic interests. They vote cultural values. They vote for the guy they feel who speaks for them in a larger sense than their bottom line.
Everybody, Congressman, I think people feel that China has been eating our lunch for years in terms of trade deals. They're not honest about intellectual property, all kinds of things. They benefit so they can go buy half of Africa whenever they want to do it. They got so much exchange. At the same time, people, regular Republican voters certainly want to stop the immigration from across the border. And so doesn't Trump get any benefits for taking on those fights with the farmers?
Well, I can tell you the farmers don't want these trade wars fought on their backs. And that is what's happening right now. I was just home. I was in Prophetstown meeting with about 15 farmers just over the last couple days. And on my ride to Prophetstown and my ride back to Moline, Illinois, which is where I live, literally these farm fields on the right side of the road, on the left side of the road, literally have standing puddles. I look over to one and there are ducks swimming on a farm field. I talked with an insurance agent who sells crop insurance. He said 90% of his farm clients are applying for what's called pre-plant, meaning they are unable to plant their corn and their beans because of the weather. On top of that, then we've got all this unpredictability, again, over these trade disagreements. So we've got a big problem here. And then on top of it, if we get things heading on a good path, then we've got Mitch McConnell, who's unwilling to take up the hard work that we're doing out of the U.S. House of Representatives to address other needs that our farm families have, like bringing down the cost of health care. So you've got all of those issues going on along with the trade, along with the bad weather, along with the cost of health care, all of that.